Welcome back, everybody, to Who Really Won the Wrestling War. We have made our way to August 1989, and we're having 4 wins in a row for WCW. Have come back to take the lead in this. Fan guy, they're up 16-12. How you feeling about August?
I think this month is going to show us all that the program that has the pay-per-view, if the other one doesn't, is going to be, I believe, heavily favored on those months.
Yeah, I do think that is probably the case. I tried to be lenient, though, on WCW, even though they don't have a bigger event, but I also don't have a lot to talk about WCW, so
As soon as Norman lost,
you were over it.
I was over it. And my enthusiasm for the whole thing just like, oh, WCW, y'all killed me.
I think we're gonna start with WCW today since they have the least to talk about.
I would agree with that.
Where to begin? I guess I kind of want to start with Lex Luger because I feel like I've given him a lot of credit for his promos, but I feel like this month, was he like off or something? I felt like he was off. He was stumbling over everything.
He's always been kind of a stumbler. I think it's but I know what you mean. I don't know if it was just his maybe it was just us, maybe it was the whole heel turn, and which was exciting.
Yeah, that's true.
It was like, maybe it blinded us to some of these things. But yeah, his promos, it's exactly that. He just fumbles over a lot of words and he says the wrong word quite a bit.
Yeah, at one point he said he's gonna spit him up he's gonna spit him up and chew him out or something like that. Chew him up and spit him out.
He's been taking the Dan Spivey promo class.
Must have been your favorite.
Yeah, he's been taking that Dan Spivey promo class.
And now he's in a feud with Tommy Rich, it seems like. I mean, it's just it's like I don't even know how to describe it. It's just something that's there, I guess.
Like, I am not trying to give a spoiler, but I'm gonna and say this didn't even make my feud list. That's how little I care about this feud.
Yeah.
And this month, I had the slimmest pickings in my brain of any month so far to pick every category. I was like,
I feel like I made some feuds in my head to put them on the list for this month.
I mean, it could have been because there's just that little to work with, but I don't care about this feud at all, Nick. I don't care about this feud at all, bro.
Me either. I guess it's just because I don't even know who Tommy Rich is, if I'm being honest. He seems like a guy who was big in the 70s, maybe early 80s, and now he's back, and it's like, okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I knew the name.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, like, so he's got some name value there as like a legend-ish, but man, I'm not impressed by his ring work. I just don't care about this guy.
Yeah, I just feel like much like Snuka in the WWF, he's just kind of probably washed up by this point.
Great analogy. I feel about him the same way I feel about Dick Murdoch and Bob Orton. That whole like geriatrics crew at this point, just the old guys. Funk's the only one of the older guys that I really like. The rest of them I could do without.
Well, we could go to, I guess, one of your dynamic dudes got injured by the New Zealand militia. That was one of the other storylines going on for WCW this month.
They must have given the Jack Victory, Secret Service Jack Victory, now New Zealand Militia Jack Victory. He must have just had something in his contract where they were like, we're going to let you win a few matches. Because that's the only thing I can think is going on here. And it's sad that it's going to happen against my dynamic dudes. And, but I guess they're trying to make the New Zealand Militia relevant. But
I don't know why. I feel like they're by far the worst team in the tag division.
Like, again, nobody cares about these guys. So, like, fuck.
It's like them and those masked tag team. That's like the two jobber tag teams. Just let them job.
Yes. The Russian Assassin 7. Russian.
Yeah.
What local guys do we have on call? Like, you want to be a Russian assassin today? Okay.
Well, I guess we'll talk about Norman. I know you mentioned you didn't like him losing in this match, I guess, to Flying Brian. But what were all your thoughts on the Norman loss?
Okay, so Brian Pillman, in my opinion, is like I would call him like a soft legend. Like he's not one of the like Mount Rushmore type guys of wrestling. But for me, Brian Pillman had a great career. Tragic ending, like just it's a wrestling legend story, you know. So I like Brian Pillman. And they're really building him up to be a monster.
They
So
are.
I think that's, you know, that's what I'm telling myself because Norman lost. I'm just like, well, Norman's just that good. And so clearly, if they're just really trying to put Pillman over into that main event area with Sting and all the other big faces. And so, you know, I mean, I get what they were trying to do here, but man, Norman had that momentum. He had the football face paint. Like, oh, it's just rough to see my man lose all his momentum. But yes, obviously the right guy won here.
Yeah, I guess I feel like with the Hills, especially in WCW, they always just make them lose like in the first month or two.
It kills their momentum. Like
Yeah.
Muda's the only one that they haven't done that to. And did you notice on this episode, Pillman won 2 matches?
Yeah, I did notice.
Like their production is getting lazy or something. Cause I was like, Pillman beats Norman. Okay, you just slayed the Titan, and now you're gonna get a squash match later. Like, come on, how disrespectful to Norman. At least make that the second match. No, they gotta do it first. Never mind.
I mean, I guess didn't make me hate it as much as because the whole Teddy Long slapping him after the match and then making him go berserk. I guess that it still saved his character at least. I guess.
Yeah, I'm not predicting a long run for the poor Norman. It is what it is. It was nice while it lasted.
Now, one of my favorite things for WCW this month was Rick Steiner. I don't think he made my top 3, but maybe he should have. But I was very entertained. He hit like 3 different promos this month with his slow character, and it made me laugh every time. So
Yeah, he does like, he does like the Rain Man level of slow.
yeah,
Not like the Eugene level of slow.
no,
Like it's just more of a Rain Man, which is he plays it so well.
he does. And with the straight face.
This character would never even be allowed to exist in today's world or climate. And it's on stuff like this that I think people need to chill out in general, because you can have a little humor here and there where no, as if it's not mean spirited, then it's not mean spirited. And Rick Steiner just does this so well. Like he is crushing this character.
He
Like,
is, and you're right. I think it's way different than Eugene.
yeah, that's what I mean. It's not over the top. It's not. Eugene was more of making fun of someone.
Yeah.
Rick Steiner is playing a character who just so happens to, be on the slower side. And it's just the childlike innocence of it. He's just brilliant at it.
Yes, that's a good point. It is very childlike because he's also just very complimentary of a lot of these guys too. But then he'll throw shade in a way. I don't know. It's just funny.
Yeah, he's super underrated. I agree. I 100% could not agree more. He's super underrated on the promo side of things. And even when his brother, when he had that little girlfriend angle, he was like playing the "Oh, stop it, Scott! I don't have a girlfriend." It was just cute. Like he just does a good job.
And they are feuding with the Freebirds. That was pretty much the biggest match we saw in WCW this month. Was the Steiners getting the upset on the tag champion Freebirds in a non-title match.
I could not agree more. This was the only, I would say, the only match I saw in WCW that I enjoyed in the slightest. So yeah, they got a clean win in a non-title match. It was a good match.
Yeah, definitely by far the best WCW match. And I can't even remember another. Well, I mean, I guess Flying Brian was the other memorable match, but this was actually a good match, though.
I should have put that one on my list. Spoiler alert, it didn't make the cut, but dang it, I should have.
That didn't make my list
either. But it really was the second best match that WCW had this month.
It was, yeah.
Maybe Sting and Dick Slater, but I don't think so.
Me either. That is the other feud, though. I guess it's like they're still pushing the Flair and Sting and Muta and Funk and the whole Gary Hart feud.
Yep.
Any thoughts on that feud?
Nah, I mean it's turned into like Gary Hart versus the faces. Like is kind of what it's turned into. Because it's just he's the new JJ Dillon. That group's the closest thing to like the bad faction right now. So they're just kind of feuding with all the top faces. I'm not crazy. I'm actually not crazy about this one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it, but it's just kind of stale, I guess, because it's kind of the same thing. Flair saves Sting, Sting saves Flair.
Now Pillman's involved.
Yeah.
But I mean, it just feels like they're mashing guys together. Like there's no cohesion. And like whenever you get a faction going, I want to feel the cohesiveness of the team in some way.
True.
And this unit just they're all over the place. Like Funk and Muta could not be more different. If they were just like a tag team, like East and West or something like that, I would love it. But when you start throwing in these other guys, Dick Slaters, and it's just getting convoluted.
Yeah, and Gary Hart is no Bobby Heenan, so he can't really carry this feud, I don't think.
Touche.
I mean, we got through WCW a little quick, but those were most of my notes. Is there anything I missed that you saw that you wanted to talk about?
No, bro. Just sad days for Norman, good days for Pillman. Steiner and the Freebirds. I mean, that was everything's just squash matches. Flair had a couple good promos.
Yeah, he always comes in with some good promos for sure. Well, let me see what I gave him last month because I don't remember. So I didn't drop him down as much as I thought. Last month I gave him a 7 point, or maybe.
I dropped him quite a bit. I mean,
I dropped him a lot because I gave him an 8, so I dropped him.
I dropped him less than a full point, but almost a full point.
I dropped him 1.5 points to 6.5. Yeah. So
I gave him a straight 6.
That gives him a 6.25, possibly on the road to losing, and this being tied once again. We shall move on to the WWF. What's that? Oh, that's your WWF. Well, let's see. There's really not a whole lot to talk about on prime times. The biggest thing on prime time has been the Piper and Heenan feud, really, which is.
I can't stand Piper on commentary in this. Like, I can't even describe how much I really don't like him on this segment, Nick. Like, it makes me okay. So it's weird because it used to be like my favorite part of prime times was watching Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon insult themselves. Mm-hmm. My favorite part of prime time.
I agree.
Now I want to fast forward through all of the segment at the desk because I cannot stand Piper. He is so over the top and it's just too much. It's too much for me. It's so much. It's cringy at times.
Yeah, I agree. He's playing the obnoxious heel he used to play, but he's like a face, so it doesn't work.
It does not work. It just makes him, I don't know, come off kind of weird. Like I can't. I don't like it.
Yeah, I agree. He's the awkward part for sure.
And you went from a legend in Bobby the Brain to that. Ugh.
Yeah. What did you any thought? Well, did you watch the episode when Rick Rude came to the studio?
No, that must have been one of the two I missed.
Yeah, that's when the feud was continuing. Heenan brought Rude to the studio, and
love it.
It was basically just more of arguing though between Rude and Piper and Heenan, but it was a little better than the episode before with just Heenan and Piper.
Oh, Heenan and Piper. At least they got Heenan. Okay, yeah, I can't stand Piper. It's just. No, I wish I had seen Rude. I love Rick Rude, and obviously they're setting up based on other things I did see this month that we haven't gotten to yet. They're clearly setting up a Piper Rude feud.
Yeah, it seems that way for sure.
But no, I don't from the ones I did. I just don't have a lot of notes. It was mostly squash matches, and I just keep writing how much Piper annoys me. Like that's what I have the most things written is about.
Yeah. Did you happen to watch the porn star on Heenan's?
Yes, I did see that.
That was one of the more funnier ones on his talk show so far. And I had to look her up to see if she's a real porn star, just to see if these people are real. And I guess they're real people because she's a real porn star and she was really on the porn stall coming on America. So
Oh my god! So she was an actual porn star.
yes.
Wow. See, because I didn't think she was.
I thought all these people were fake and they were just coming. I don't know if they were actors or something, but no, I think they're all real.
But I guess they just got some over the top people.
Yeah.
Because she has some strange guests. I just wish it was more wrestling stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
it would work better.
Yes, and it would fill the biggest hole that WWF has right now, which is lack of it. It would give people opportunity to build feuds and to do, to tell stories.
Yeah, that is still the weakness. They're not building anything.
Like nothing.
Well, I guess we will get to SummerSlam. I mean, despite the no build, I felt like the first hour and 45 minutes was good. At least it was entertaining.
I agree. I enjoyed the first bunch. Matter of fact, my least favorite stuff was towards the end.
Yeah, see, I agree.
All of it. All of my three least favorite matches were the last.
The last hour was not good. We will start by the beginning. Heart Foundation and the Brain Busters non-title.
This was a good match. I thoroughly enjoyed this match. This might I don't want to give any spoilers. This might have been one. This was easily one of my favorite matches on this card. Yeah, I love this match. I mean, I liked everything about it. I didn't mind the finish.
Yeah, I do wish it had more of a build because it was when I saw it was on the card. It was the one I was looking forward to most. And I do like that, even though it was non-title, Brainbuster still won because I thought Heart Foundation was going to win because it's non-title, but they didn't.
Could not agree more. Whenever it was a non-title match, I was like, oh, they're setting up they're doing exactly what WCW is doing with the Steiners and the Freebirds, like exactly. And so it was nice to get the swerve that the champs actually won in the non-title match,
and that they won in, I guess, like a more brainy way if they're supposed to be the Brainbusters.
Yeah, this was I enjoyed everything about this match. The finish, the match itself, and the foundation for maybe still starting a feud with these two teams, even though I think it's gonna be the Rockers. But
yeah, I hope so because that was a good feud that they haven't gone back to.
That they just dropped inexplicably.
Well, next up was Dusty Rhodes and Honky Tonk Man. Rhodes making his in-ring debut, I'm pretty sure. I feel like maybe people might think this match isn't like on paper it wasn't the greatest match in the world, but I actually still liked it because it was entertaining to me, and the crowd was hot.
How can you not enjoy Dusty Rhodes? Like, it's just, for me, it's impossible to not enjoy this match. It wasn't a great match, but neither of these guys are technicians. They're like, they just are who they are.
Yep.
So this did what it did. You got to hear he's a hard-working man, working hard with his hands. Come on, like,
it is a great theme.
Yeah, the American dream. Like,
Yep. I still don't get the polka dots, but
that is sadly them making fun of him because of his build, man. That's Vince McMahon being a dick, or Jack Tunney being a dick.
Did you like the finish? Hart accidentally hitting Honky Tonk Man with the guitar.
Yeah, I did. It was fine. I mean, yeah, it was. I did. I mean, it was perfect. It was fine. And then Rhodes got the win, as he should, obviously. So I mean, it could have been a cleaner win for Rhodes, but I don't think that it makes with regards to his momentum, I think the finish doesn't even matter whether
Yeah, I
it's
agree.
clean or that. So I was okay with this finish. Yeah.
Up next was a pretty quick match between Mr. Perfect and the Red Rooster. I read that I think Red Rooster might have got injured during this match, which is why it was so quick, but it also worked that it was so quick.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely. As much as I like Kurt Hennig, Terry Taylor is just not my dude. That sucks that he got hurt.
Yeah.
It does make sense because the finish happened real quick. Like he climbed into the ring and just bam. So that makes a lot of sense. I didn't even think about that because I was kind of like, dang. Like
Yeah,
just
I mean, I liked it, but then I always read up on these after I watch it just to see if I missed anything, and then yeah, I guess somebody said he was injured in this match.
probably when he got thrown out. Yeah, that makes sense. Because I mean, I agree with you. I like that finish,
Me too.
but it's not something they normally would let happen that way. Like the perfect plex off of the ring entrance, you know.
Yeah.
But I
Next,
still enjoyed this match, maybe because it was so short.
yeah, I think that's why it worked for me. Is because it was short and it's like a strong win for Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, I was super okay with it because it didn't have time to bore me.
Yeah. There. What was next? Rockers and Tito Santana and I can never say their fucking name. The Rougeau. Yes, the Rougeau brothers and Martel. The best, I mean, this was like the only match that had any kind of build. So it's like two feuds mixed together, but
Yeah. I like this match. I was okay with everything about this match, including the finish. It was very similar to the Brainbusters Heart Foundation match earlier in the night in terms of like just a good match, like just a pretty good match. So yeah, I like the match. Martel got the win, which is good because I feel like he's a bigger star than Tito Santana.
yeah, and I think I said last podcast, or one of the last podcasts, that I hate 6-man tag matches because the last 10 years they've been beaten into the ground and people in the matches don't matter. It's just like putting people on TV just to have matches, basically. But I like that this was two feuds coming together to make this match, so it worked for me because of that.
I agree. I agree with everything about that, including the whole 6-man tags are usually just, oh, these guys need airtime.
Yeah.
3 faces, 3 heels.
Yep.
All right, boys, you get your airtime, you know.
And yes, Martel gets the win on Jannetty despite Michaels being the legal man. So
Little controversy to keep it not a super clean win.
yeah, I agree. Although it feels like all these matches so far have had some sort of like controversy, but it still was entertaining.
Agreed.
Next up was Intercontinental title, Rick Rude, Ultimate Warrior. And honestly, I feel I like this match. You're making a face, but I
didn't dislike it.
I think for me, like there was the early parts of the match I was getting a little like, this is kind of boring. But then it kind of like, I don't know, I feel like it told one of the better stories we've seen in a match and throughout these 8 months, honestly.
I agree with that. It definitely told the story. For me, honestly, and I've noticed this, I don't enjoy the Ultimate Warrior matches. Like he is so not good in the ring, quite frankly, that and so I think I enjoyed them more when I was younger because I didn't have time to realize how not good of a ring technician he was. So now that like I realize how crappy he is in the ring, it takes some of the polish off of all his matches for me. Like I'm just like, oh, here's the Warrior doing one of his 4 moves. Oh yeah, oh, there's the other one.
Yeah, I definitely can see the repetitiveness does get there sometimes.
That's why his and Hogan's Mania 6 match is just.
You don't like it?
It is when we get there and you watch this match, it's so slow because both of these guys have 4 moves in their arsenal. So it is a test of strength. It is a couple of blows. It is each guy doing their 4 moves, and that is it.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be nostalgia, but I think I'm going to like that match personally. But we'll see.
It's nostalgic for sure. But yeah, those guys, that's what the same reason I don't like Hogan is he's got 4 moves, and what he did was on this card was so I can't. I'll get into that when we get there, but
I
him and the
kind of
Warrior,
they're different for me because Hogan's hulking up is a lot different than Warrior just getting beat down and not giving up. I think that's very different.
they're similar but different. Yes,
Because Hogan just hulking up out of nowhere is kind of like,
so
okay, dude.
yeah, it's so stupid.
But I feel like Warrior at least has more continuity that he keeps getting beat down but just gets back up.
I just don't like their move sets. I hate being that dude on this one, but Warrior and Hogan are 2 of the worst in-ring guys of all time for me. Like Barry Horowitz has more of an offensive skill set than either of these guys. So, it just kills me a little on the inside. But I love Rick Rude, and I do love the Warrior. I mean, he's a legend, so it is what it is. But and then you get the Piper interference in this match, which
At least it was part of the story.
yeah, and it builds the Piper Rude feud now that Warrior is gonna go on to other things now. So yeah, I mean that's what I mean. I like the story made sense front to back of this match, and it even set up one of the next feuds. So it's better than anything else WWF has done in terms of using a match to tell a story and to continue the next chapter of the story, which is what wrestling's supposed to be. So yeah, I agree. I agree with all that.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's why it stood out to me because I just felt like there was a lot of purpose to this match and a lot of thought went into this match. Because I did like the Warrior just not staying down in this match because of the way it worked. But it also kept Rude strong because towards the end, Rude was also not giving up. He got his foot on the rope during a pile driver.
And it took Piper's distraction, even though it wasn't a blatant level distraction. It was
Yeah, I guess I just feel like everybody came out of this match looking better, which I think is what a match is supposed to do, in my opinion.
Yeah, I dig it. You sold me. Yeah, you sold me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying this is Flair Steamboat by any means, but I feel like it was as good of a story as Flair Funk's match was to me.
Yeah, the story 100%. I just it really is the skill set of that one guy that kills his matches for me.
We will move on to there were some interviews after. I don't know if you had any notes on those, but Heenan was the best one, of course.
That was the only note I had. Was the only one of these I enjoyed was Bobby Heenan.
Next, we had Akeem, Bossman, Andre versus Demolition, and King Duggan. This is when the show started going downhill, unfortunately.
Demolition for me is like 2 Ultimate Warriors. Like they just don't have any move skill set. It's very generic. They're both that way. Though I did find something out while I was just watching random. I watched like 6 or 7 Royal Rumbles because they just kept popping up on YouTube. And I was just been sick all week, so I was bored and watching them. And one of Demolition goes on to be the Repo Man. I did not know that. Yeah. I did not know that the Repo Man was Smash. Like,
yeah, I did know that, but it is a different character, that's for sure.
Holy hell, it is.
Yeah, nobody in this match really just excites me, honestly. That's the problem.
No,
I love Andre, but like,
yeah, me too. I didn't like the win. I didn't like which team won. I didn't like the wrong team won here for me, even though it was still a dirty win, but it was the wrong team won. And I don't like Demolition, but I actually like, and I don't really like Duggan, but I like all the heels in this match.
Why do you think Demolition is their tag team? Is it just because they're like the answer to the Road Warriors?
100%. 1,000,000%.
But like they're so generic, they're not even interesting.
No, and they're not good in the ring either. And they don't give good promo. No, I'm not about them.
Do you think they like sold a lot of merch because of their face paint or something?
100%. It was the knockoff Road Warriors. It's exactly what it was. They even came in with the similar spiked sort of gear. I mean, it was WWF's answer to one of the hottest attractions in WCW.
Well, I'm looking forward to the Road Warriors coming to the WWF, even though I think it's a few years away.
All of those guys are about to come. Flair's about to come. Sid's about to come. They're all about to come.
Yeah, I think it's a while though, like a year or two.
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah, I don't want to give a super spoiler, but I'm pretty sure Flair has a pretty big win in 1990 WWF.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what WCW looks like at that point.
That's when I'm worried for them. That's when I'm really worried for them.
Yeah.
That's a few years before Nitro. But then, like 5 or 6 years later, all those guys are back into WCW doing Nitro with the different Wolfpack they're all back.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty wild roller coaster for the next few years, or 5 to 10 years.
Well, that's why it was a war, I guess. Shit.
Yeah.
Next up, Lord, with this Ronnie Garvin character that just can't keep a job. Now he's a ring announcer for this match with Hercules and Greg Valentine. Valentine wins in a cheating way, but then Ronnie Garvin announces that Hercules won.
I'm so over this Garvin angle. Like, I really am. Like, I'll give him like an A for originality and effort, but I can't. I'm just over it. It's cool. Let it run its course for a month, and it's just let it die. A for effort, F for execution.
Yeah, it was just nothing. I just feel like the whole Garvin storyline is just like a time killer, basically.
Yeah, and nobody really nobody really cares about Valentine or Hercules, and yet they're towards the end of the card. Like, what? Like,
Yeah.
That should have been like the second match. Like,
yeah. Although I will say, I would take this fucking nowhere storyline over 6-man tag matches of modern day time wasters. So
no arguments on that.
next up was Snuka and DiBiase, another match to build for this main event, I guess. Maybe they were like, we're gonna put all these bad matches before the Hogan match, so maybe it's better.
There you go. That has to be it, because this match sucked too. I didn't mind the finish. I was glad to see DiBiase get the win, but I was not impressed by the second half of this card.
Yeah, me either. Unfortunately, it was an entertaining show. And the main event with this terrible storyline. And I hate how, I've said this like 3 times now, how cartoonish everything is with Sherry and Macho Man and Zeus, I guess.
Yeah, this match, considering how much I love Macho Man, I don't like the other 3 guys involved in this match. So this was not an enjoyable match, considering it was one of the matches that they had been building up and
for months now.
Yes, I didn't like really much about this match, and there's a few things in this match in particular that I despised. One we alluded to earlier, which is Savage hits his flying elbow that has just won him so many matches over so many people, and Hogan straight no sells that shit straight into Hulking out.
Again, second time.
Yes. Like, he hits it and Hogan just immediately pops up, and I am just livid when I'm seeing that. I'm so livid at what I'm witnessing. Oh, and then Hogan gets the win over Zeus.
Yeah.
Who turns out not to be invincible at all.
Of course. Not against Hulkamania.
Yeah, this match sucked.
It was terrible. Like, if you have this bad of a build and then you have cartoon characters now, basically, it's just like, I didn't care for one, and then it was still shitty just to watch it. So like, yeah, they need
And
to
with
move
the
on.
best thing about the match is the most cartoony guy in Macho Man and Sherry, and that's the best for me. And that's the best part about the match. Oh,
He
buddy.
can't save it. Sorry.
Like, oh, buddy. Maybe bring his brother out. Let him tell some rhymes. That would have helped maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm thankful that they end up going this Ultimate Warrior route because Hogan is not only played out, but they're like, who's he going to feud with? That's the problem to someone that's like a super person, like Hogan's character is.
Yeah, but I don't even think they could do the Warrior Hogan feud for a little while because WrestleMania is not for quite a while, right?
Yeah, about 7 months. I think it probably starts to see the Survivor Series, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a couple month build to that, but it wouldn't be now. So I think each of them still have one more feud to go. Maybe it'll be Hogan and Macho Man a little more, and then Warrior maybe with. I mean,
Martel,
they've done such a shitty job of telling stories that
that they have nobody for the big faces to go against.
right. Maybe like Jake the Snake will turn heel or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe. I guess there's DiBiase for Warrior.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. He just got the win over Snuka, the end of the card. I could see that.
Well, that was SummerSlam. It
Yeah.
was my expectations were low, so I guess I enjoyed it that because of that. But it definitely that last hour sucked.
Yeah, it's so weird when a pay-per-view it's like but then like this isn't even the end. It just goes and then it just stays at the bottom. But it starts actually this one was more like starts really high and just just falls off somewhere around the 2/3 to 3/4 mark.
Exactly what happened.
So strange. It was strange whenever, because it's supposed to be the other way, or it's supposed to be you want your best match at the end or something, and that was not the case here. But overall, it was my favorite show of the month, obviously, and it had some really good matches on this card. They were just all after the Rude Warrior match, it all just went to hell.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be saying that a lot about when Hogan's in the main event. Even in WCW, we might be saying it a lot.
Oh man, so much about Hogan annoys me.
What was your score for the WWF this month?
I actually gave him I wish I looked at what I gave him last month. This month I gave him a 6.8.
Yeah, I went up a lot. I gave him almost a point up to a 7.2.
Yeah. I gave him like a hell of a bump. Like maybe it was too much. I didn't look at my last month's score before I scored him, but I'm not supposed to. So
7.0, which gives them the win to WCW 6.25.
They did it.
They came back. They stopped the streak of WCW.
It only took them having a pay-per-view. Not having a pay-per-view.
That's exactly what it took. But I guess it's still anybody's year to win because I really don't know. It might end up a tie, honestly.
Yeah, it's anybody's to win or to lose, because either company can either start putting out a good product and take it, or they can start putting out a crappy product and lose it. So I could see this going either way at this point.
Yeah, one thing I didn't mention for WCW, I mentioned it last podcast, I think, is that Ric Flair is now the head of the booking committee. So I don't know what direction that's going to go in.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a big change.
But I believe it's still the same booking committee, just he's on top now. But well, let's get to our top threes. Start with tag teams. And third, even though they lost, they still entertained me a lot, is the Freebirds.
That is also my third. It's more for me because there are next to no tag teams that I care about right now. And so the Freebirds made my list strictly due to the fact that Michael Hayes gives some great promos, and I care about them, whereas
Yeah,
I don't care about most other teams.
I agree with that for sure. My number 2 was the Steiners, who beat the Freebirds.
My number 2 is the Brainbusters.
Brainbusters are my number 1. So.
And my number 1 is the Steiners, who I thought just had a great month. They got a big win over the Freebirds in a non-title match. So yeah.
And Rick Steiner's killing it. That's a
Dude,
character.
He's an excellent driver.
Well, we shall go to matches. I had Steiners and Freebirds at number 3.
See, I know that. Yeah, I wish I had I wish I had let you give me your provocative argument over for that match, because that match didn't make my list, and I know it's probably your number 1 based on our
That
conversation.
it is.
This one's gonna be interesting. My number 3 is this is how little I thought of the matches this month. Rockers and Tito versus Martel and the Rougeau brothers. It was just
an entertaining match, I guess.
It was just one of the better matches for me. It was one of the only matches I remotely cared about, and I didn't even care about it that much.
Number 2 for me was Heart Foundation and Brainbusters.
Number 2 for me is Steiners versus the Freebirds. I just enjoyed the match. I enjoyed the finish.
And yes, my number 1 was indeed Warrior and Rick Rude.
Yeah. My number 1 was actually your number 2. It was the Brainbusters and the Heart Foundation. It was just my favorite match.
Yeah, it was also a good match. I just felt like the story was all complete with the Warrior.
You sold me because I agree. And especially given the fact of how bad WWF has been at doing that.
True.
Like, they've been so bad at telling stories of matches that, yes, I mean.
And that could be why it stood out so much to me. I don't know.
That's valid.
Feuds, this was tough.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, it was.
For number 3, I put Steiners and Freebirds, but they could be higher, honestly.
I put this one was the toughest category for me. I put Tito and Martel. Yeah.
Number 2, I put the whole Sting, Flair, Funk, Muda thing.
My number 2 is the Steiners and the Freebirds.
My number 1, I don't even know if this. I mean, I put them all together just because it's Warrior, Rude, and Piper and Heenan, because that was kind of like the main storyline on WWF. So,
my number 1 was it was what you had at number 2. I named it Gary Hart's Guys versus Faces, because that's the best way I can describe it. It's Gary Hart's Guys versus the top faces. It's
true.
It's Muda and Funk targeting everyone.
That leaves it with Superstars. I'm gonna change my number 3, honestly. I had Flying Brian, but he went down to 4 because I have to put Rick Steiner in number
3. Yeah, I wasn't thinking about Ricky when I made my list, but man, I agree with you. My number 3, this one was actually a really tough category for me too, honestly. I didn't see a lot of guys this month that I was like super impressed by anything. So my number 3 was Dusty Rhodes. He got his debut win. His promo work is just aces. So yeah.
Yeah, that's valid. I would consider him too. I just kind of wanted to put somebody from WCW, I guess, in my top 3.
Yeah, I hear that.
Number 2 for me was Rick Rude.
Number 2 for me, I did give a guy from WCW. It was Brian Pillman. He got a big win over Norman, and he's been heavily featured. and he's finding his way in with Sting and the other very top faces of the company. He's involved with them now.
Yeah, I had him at number 3, but I had to put Rick Steiner on because he's entertained me more.
I feel you. Yeah.
My 1 was Ultimate Warrior, but
my number 1's also Ultimate Warrior.
And I feel like he's at the start of the prime of his career for the next year or so.
I don't have to like his skill, his offensive move skill set to appreciate what he's done for the industry, and exactly what you just said. We're witnessing the start of his best run of his career.
Well, that concludes August '89. We're back at a tie. It really is neck and neck.
It's anybody's game. It really is. Both companies have a few good things going for them, and if they choose to feature those in the right ways, it's either company's game to win.
I agree. Any final thoughts?
Nah, just more of the same. What you said about Rick Steiner. Y'all, when y'all watch this, appreciate Rick Steiner's work. Like this,
It really is a great character work.
Yeah, it's a lovable, it's an innocent, lovable character. It's great.
Like, it's not even like Saturday Night Live caricature or anything. It's just straight up character.
Yeah, he is doing character like, because he's not. It's so hard to explain.
It is.
It's not over the top childish about it, but his demeanor is childish as an adult. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, just that, and Brain's still killing it. Flair's still killing it. Rude is killing it. I just want WWF to start
actually building something.
Yes.
Or more than just a terrible feud with Hogan and cartoon characters.
Right. Because even the stuff in WCW, like the whole Gary Hart versus Faces, I'm not crazy about it, but at least they're doing something. Like, and WWF has better characters to work with. So if they decide to do something with their characters, like, it's definitely I feel like it's their game to lose. But I feel like they might, because they're not doing anything with what they have. Like, they have the better raw materials to work with, and they're not.
Yeah, I still feel like WCW has more momentum despite not having an event this month.
Yeah. Do you know if there's any pay-per-views in the next month?
There's Clash for WCW.
That's it?
Pretty sure.
Oof.
So it could be back to WCW.
Good luck, WWF. I hope y'all do some good work with y'all prime times.
Well, that is all for us this week of August. We'll see everybody next week.